Welcome to the RC Roundtable podcast, where we discuss the latest RC hobby news, events, model reviews, and a whole lot more. Oh, hey. Buonasera, old chaps. How you doing?
Ciao.
Ciao.
Buongiorno, Principe.
I said that a lot last week.
Yeah.
Yes, so the only few words I knew or learned, a combination.
All right.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 218 of the RC Roundtable. And I have returned in one piece, mostly.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, Fitz took over Italy for a week. He invaded Italy.
I don't know if I call it that.
All right. So how much of it do we get to hear about, and how much is top secret?
Well, I can't go too much into what I did other than it was work, so not too exciting.
Okay.
We got to spend some neat time with our European friends from all over Europe. Those guys had some interesting stories.
Yeah,
One guy, one of the engineers from the European Space Agency, he was a refugee from like the Bosnian War.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, he had a life. He was young when it happened, so it wasn't like he was, a rebel fighter or anything. But he had to skedaddle with his family and spent time in various parts of the world. I think, including the U.S. He spent some time in the U.S., but now he's in Northern Europe. But anyways, one thing was a little disappointing was the weather. It rained basically every day that was there. And it was rather cool, too. So it was cold and rainy, except for the very last day.
You sure you weren't in Seattle?
It must have been what Seattle's like, because it was pretty dreary.
Huh.
And we ended up walking to our meeting most of the time. And so, we're walking in rain. It wasn't like super heavy rain like we have here in Texas, but it was, misty, drizzly, just enough to kind of soak your
soul?
The soul a little bit.
Your will to live?
Yeah, but it was pretty neat experience. My first time in Italy, and there's I'll get into it later, some interesting cultural things that go on there.
Yeah.
But it was neat. I was a little disappointed. Ferraris and Lamborghinis don't grow on trees there, so.
No, really.
No, it sucks. They all drive these little teeny Fiats and Citroens, and the most exotic thing I saw was, I think, a Porsche.
All right.
So yeah, I didn't get. I did get to the Automobile Museum, which is quite nice, and that's where I saw the fancy stuff. But they have if you're ever in the area, I was in Turin, Italy, which is in the north, near the Alps, which was, when I finally got to see them, was pretty nice, like on the last day. But this museum is really quite nice. They have literally like the first car ever made, or a replica of it or something like that. It's a steam-powered contraption more than a car. And they go all throughout history through mostly Italian, but they had quite a few. They had some French stuff, they had some American stuff there. All kinds of things from regular passenger cars to race cars to experimental cars, that kind of stuff. And it was really, I had a really nice time going on there, taking all kinds of pictures and gawking at the marvels of automobile engineering from Italy and around the world.
Oh, cool. Now, I was listening to a podcast earlier today, and ironically enough, they were talking about Turin. Now, the podcast was about these high-end art thieves. It was kind of a real-life Ocean's 11 capers kind of thing. But the gang of art thieves was based in Turin. And they were talking about how that's kind of historically, there's sort of they called it a school, I think, of this legacy of high-end art thieves passing along the trade in Turin. So, but they also mentioned that Fiat is based there. And you had a picture of yourself next to a Fiat airplane.
Yeah, I didn't copy it over, but yeah, a Fiat G.91, which I knew of, but I don't recall ever seeing one in the flesh. And we just was talking to engineers about airplanes. He goes, "Oh yeah, we have a Fiat sitting outside that we can take a look at." Like, "You do?" Because it wasn't an obvious place. I didn't see it. I was like, so I when we had a little extra time during lunch, I asked him to show me where it is. He said, yeah, sure. So we walked over there, and there it was sitting on the flash. I could take a whole bunch of pictures of it, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, cool.
And in the entrance, you saw the picture I sent you. On the entrance to the facilities, on a pole is a sort of a advanced trainer attack craft design they built there. What is it called? I got a model of it here. Oh, the AMX. Kind of odd name.
Okay.
And I asked the guy, I said, did they make these here? And he said, yes. At one point, their facility was an aircraft manufacturing facility. And so they had made, I think the Fiat was made there and the AMX was made there at some point. I don't think they do make any aircraft there anymore. They've shifted facilities to, he told me it's near the airport now, or on the airport. Although there was a small airport right across the street, but apparently it's mainly for civilian use now. There was an aero club that had a hangar. One day the hangar was open, and I saw like a Cessna 150 in there and a few other things. And I saw an airplane flying around when I was near the hotel, because the hotel was very close by. Pulled out ADSB exchange app thing.
Yeah.
And it was like a Piper Cherokee or something flying around. So it was pretty neat. And it was interesting, the airport there is, obviously a major commercial airport, but civilian aircraft flies in. I saw a couple Diamond aircraft taxiing around there, a Diamond Twin, which is pretty light aircraft. So it's kind of neat to hang around. Also, they flew gliders at that field that was right across the street. I saw the glider trailers, but of course the weather was absolutely terrible for flying anything. So, but I imagine on the weekends or something, they probably pop them out and fly around.
Now, when we posted that picture of you on the Fiat on our Facebook page, we posed the question, what other companies have made airplanes and cars? And I had a few floating around in my brain, but the contributors came up with a nice list of companies that throughout history have done both. Quite a few.
It's more than you think. I guess, as a few people said, I guess during the war, World War II, a lot of automobile companies or whatever were basically recruited subcontracted, yeah. So GM and Chrysler, well, GM at least were making aircraft. I don't know about Chrysler. Ford, of course, made aircraft and civilian.
Right. And if you extend that one further to which companies made aircraft engines as well as cars, then you get a whole other pile of stuff. But it's just kind of neat to examine that and see what companies have done.
Saab is another one. I don't know if that was mentioned or not.
Yeah, that was on there.
Of course, Mitsubishi and Kawasaki as well.
Yeah.
And so, it's interesting. But I have some pictures and stuff. We can talk about that later or now. It's up to you guys.
Well, we're here.
All right. So let me go into a little show and tell. Sorry if you're listening and not watching. Go to YouTube to watch, because I have pictures. It's show and tell, not listen and tell. But I'll try to describe best I can. Visualize. All right. Oops. I clicked the button by accident.
All right. Well, while you're bringing that up, Lee, tell me about your screen name today.
I think Fitz might know.
Well, is that from All Quiet on the Western Front?
No, just the last name.
Wilhelm. Private Wilhelm. Is that a Wilhelm scream?
Yes.
Okay.
It's on my list. It's on my list to talk about later.
Oh, okay. So there will be an explanation, because I am lost.
Okay.
All right. So do you see this?
I see it.
All right. So
for those of you listening, it's a picture of a building.
It's a picture of a building.
Modelissimo.
Modelissimo. Okay, so as I'm apt to do whenever I go somewhere in a foreign country, I always, if I have time and ability, to go out and see if I can find some hobby stores. And in Italy, I ended up finding a hobby store, actually a couple. Now this one, so I've got a beef with Google Maps, because they kind of pissed me off a little bit. So before I got there, I poked around looking for hobby shops. When I was there, I was poking around, and I didn't have a whole lot of time. But the night before I left, I was going to have some extra time during the day. I said, okay, I'm going to go check out some hobby shops. And in the hotel at night, I found out this hobby shop called Modelissimo Polo was literally like 10 minutes away, and I never saw it on the Google Maps. until that night. I was like, son of a, because I could have gone that night and save myself some time the next day, because I was trying to work out how I'm going to go back and forth. So I ended up going here on the next day in the morning, and Google says opens at 9:30. I said, okay, well, I'll time myself. I didn't have a whole lot of time in the day, so I'll try to get there right around 9:30.
9:30 Central Time.
No, local time.
I'm kidding.
So this shop, I get there about like 9:31, and these two guys are outside, and they look like they're starting to open up. They pulled the cover away, they started unlocking a door or something, and then I'm sitting there, and I took a couple of pictures, and then he turns around, says something to me in Italian, like it was literally like one word. I had no idea what he said. I tried to ask him, English? And then he just walked away.
Let's all guess what that was.
I don't know, but he like half opened, walked away. Everything was still locked up, and like, okay.
Maybe they were robbing the joint.
I don't know. And I waited on for about 5 minutes, like, I can't wait. I got to go off, do some stuff. And so, and because it looked like a neat shop. There's, you can see inside, there's some FMS planes, some E-flight stuff. This is an RC model shop too. And I was, may have had some magazines. It had some plastic models and some just random stuff. It looked like a neat shop. And they just kind of just walked away. It's like, what the? And they weren't fully open. They didn't open all the windows, and the doors were locked. And so now, and this goes into kind of a beef I have with Italy. It's a cultural thing, I know, but it's a major pain in the glutamus maximus. Every shop, pretty much, closes every day from like noon to 3.
Siesta. Whatever that is in Italian.
Yes, and that was, I would have gone back, but I had to leave for the airport at like 2 for my flight, for 2:30. Even if it had opened at like maybe 2 o'clock, I probably could have sneaked in real quick. But at 3, there was no way I was going to get there because I had to be at the airport. And so it's such an inconvenience that all these stores close. And it's the same for like everything. And they open up late too. Restaurants, a lot of them don't open up until like 7:30 at night. We're pushing 8 o'clock. I said, what the? So, sorry, Italians, but I'm going to be the ugly American and say, why? It's incredibly inconvenient. I can understand closing for maybe an hour or 2, maybe. But come on, 3.5 hours, pushing 4 hours? Mamma mia. So, anyways, so I didn't get to that shop. So I did find another one on the way to the Auto Museum called AMT Modelismo. Here's a picture of it here. And this one, unfortunately, is not an RC shop, but it was a fairly fine plastic model shop. And here's the inside. They had some really neat display cases with static models that are built. There was 2 floors. The first floor is mainly ships, lots of different types of model ships, both wood and plastic. They had this, here's a display case with all kinds of neat ship accessories and details and stuff. You see props, fittings, wheels. It was a really neat shop, actually. Really, really cool. You go down to the second floor, and it was just actually had a really good selection of plastic models. So this is just looking at couple of walls of, full of just plastic models. Namely the same brands you see here. There was a couple of odd brands I didn't really, wasn't that aware of, and so I was tempted to pick some stuff up from odd brand stuff, but I had to consider how much luggage I had. So it was really pretty nice. They had some interesting plastic models on display, really well detailed. There's a P-51, a DR1, a couple of DR1s. I'm not sure what the thing on the right is. Is that a Pfalz maybe? Or I'm not sure what that is.
Or a Halberstadt? I don't know.
Maybe a Halberstadt, yeah. So at least I found something. But anyways, that was the extent of the Italian. I didn't have a whole lot of time. And as I mentioned, on the way back, I was going to stop by in London to visit some family, hang out for a couple days. And of course, I got out to see a couple of hobby shops there as well. These weren't quite as convenient. I had to take buses and trains to get there, so it took a good chunk of the day. I took the tube, but it was well, no, I guess part of it was underground, but mostly overground. But yes, the tube. So I found West London models, and this, I might take a little bit of time on this one because this was a really fascinating visit. This one a lot better, spoilers, than the Italy trip. So this is an RC shop that had some really cool stuff inside. Apparently they've been there for quite many years. And so I walk in, and this neat little free flight thing was on the counter. A guy was working on it. This is a shop. Again, it's an RC model shop, pretty well stocked for its size. But apparently it was actually quite a bit larger, and they downsized over the years. And so there was a couple of nice gentlemen manning the counters. You can see there's RC cars, some planes. They had a mixture of, they had some E-Flight stuff from Horizon, and a lot of supplies, some plastic models, some trains, just odds and ends. Let's see if I can go in here. Some neat stuff hanging, some free flight stuff hanging from the ceiling for the most part, or at least RC Assist. This guy started unfolding some plans. I don't know if you can see, Lee. They're AMA plans. Yeah, it was huge. There was another giant free flight. I forgot the name. It's kind of like, can you read that? I read it and I can't. Scram, I think it's called.
Okay, yeah, it looks right.
But I thought it was funny that over here in England they have some plans on the AMA service. So I had a really interesting discussion with these guys, especially the guy on the left, Steve.
Nigel.
And so Nigel, he didn't have a proper British name. His name was Steve. And we were talking, I guess I'll go into that. And I told him from America, obviously, as soon as I open my mouth, they're like, "You're not from here, around here, are you?" And we had a really fascinating and somewhat depressing discussion about the modeling scene in the UK. He says the shop used to be a lot bigger, a lot busier, and the traffic has just really died down to a crawl. And the modeling scene in England, the flying fields, just like no flying fields like in the London area. You got to go out. And he says he frequently travels to flying events. He's an RC modeler, but it's like an hour and a half drive. He says usually the case on average to get anywhere near a flying field. He's actually spent quite a bit of time in the U.S. We were talking about some events. He's been out to Florida Jets and a bunch of stuff in Florida. I think he said he lived in Florida for a bit, and so he knew Tom. Who's the Astrofly Bob Butcher?
Bob Boucher.
Boucher, yeah, apparently knew him fairly well. These guys were the importer for a bunch of American stuff. They're the UK importer for Horizon Hobby, Astroflight at the time, and I think a few other things.
I see some Dubro stuff back there. There
is some Dubro. I think I have a picture of it. He's got some old Dubro things. Some kits. We were talking about kits, what's made in England. He says, not much. He says, even a lot of stuff from Germany is not really. Okay. What's that?
Ripmax is one British company.
Yeah, we talked a bit about Ripmax. Apparently Ripmax is still a thing, but they're a shell of their former selves. This is something that they kitted. The Viking apparently is an Astroflight re-kit. I forgot what he said. Oops, did I just close it? No, I didn't.
No, we still see it.
Okay, sorry, I clicked on something. I forgot what it was called. Is it a Livewire or something? Does it look familiar?
I don't think it's
He said this was an Astroflight kit that they re-kitted under license or something.
Okay.
It even says West London models on it. I guess it's a assisted free flight or a 2-channel. It looks like it has a free flight heritage, but I'm sure it's
sure.
Yeah, it's just 3-channel radios. Yeah, vintage 60 cabin model. So think of a elliptical wing cabin free flight thing that's RC assist. So
pretty classic old timer.
Actually looked pretty nice. And I said, so they apparently, So it had a good stock of balsa wood, and there's some plane in its bones sitting on the counter. And there he is standing behind the counter. I had some notes. I'm already going to go over it. And one of the things we talked about is the cost of bringing goods over from the U.S. And here's a price of a Horizon Hobbies apprentice kit, starter set. And it's 429 pounds.
Right.
Now, apprentice in the U.S. is what? A couple $100, $300 maybe?
I guess it depends on which version you get, but yeah.
I think the one with the radio, And so that's like 500 and something bucks.
Wow.
In US dollars. So he said, yeah, bringing stuff over from the US is generally around a 40% markup. That's what he said. Yeah, he says really expensive. And he said it's still...
Does that include the exchange rate?
Well, just whatever. I think just in general. I don't think it includes the exchange rate. I think it's just from whatever their cost or whatever it should retail for. Yeah, $570 is what I had. And he said it's just, they sell things, but it's just not as much interest. It's hard to find places to fly. He says a lot of the flying fields were old World War II airfields, and they're getting kind of developed by housing and stuff, and so there's fewer sites to fly. And he said something kind of sad. He said they were the only RC shop in London.
Wow.
Wow. Really?
So looking at the Horizon site now, an Apprentice ready to fly is $370.
Oh, wow. So yeah,
it's $200 more?
So it was like $570, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Price of shipping over across the pond, apparently.
Yeah, something like that. All right.
They're going to want a partnership with you, Fitz.
Right.
Next time you come over, hey, could you put a couple of planes in your suitcase for us?
Yeah, really.
Stick that propeller where? Did you notice the price of balsa?
I didn't look. I didn't think to look at the price of balsa. Sorry.
That's all right. Just a
Didn't
curiosity.
cross my mind. Sorry,
Yeah.
I should have. Well, here's a picture of some of the tags. You asked about Dubro, and I thought it was a Dubro picture in there. I guess not. But there's a Great Plains and a Goldberg stuff. He said some of this stuff has probably been on the hooks for decades.
Yeah, so neither of those companies are around anymore.
Yeah. And I actually picked up something, and it said 49 pence. And he's like, basically 49 cents. And
Tuppence.
And he said, yeah, that's been there a long time. He said, you can't buy anything for less than a pound nowadays. So it was really fun just to kind of poke around on the things. It was just a mixture of some American brands, some British ones, some German stuff. I had a bunch of, oops, let me go back. I thought I had more pictures, sorry. And some, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Some Tamiya stuff. I'm zooming into the picture. Permagrit we saw. There was Aeronaut. He had a lot of Aeronaut stuff. You can barely see it.
That's German, right?
I believe
think it's
so,
German.
yes. And a whole bunch of stuff. And he had some, I don't know if you can see there, he had a bunch of Hacker motors. Oh, that's not the Hacker section. Which I thought was interesting.
Yeah. Also
they were
German.
like, Hacker's still in business. You just don't see it much stateside. It's also German. Yeah, sorry, it's not in this picture. But a whole bunch of Hacker motors. Like, oh, look at that. And there's some Tamiya cars and stuff. So it was a nice little shop. Had a nice conversation with the gentleman. It was just kind of sad to hear that if you're in the London area, flying RC models takes a real amount of dedication. And then as I was leaving, he gave me a bit of bad news. He says that the West London model shop will be closing in August. They will be shutting their doors and ceasing operations. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're in the London area, make sure you get down there. They're a bunch of very nice chaps. Go down there, buy something, give them our regards. I actually gave him a sticker. Give him an RC Roundtable sticker. So
cool.
So we made our note. So I know we have some UK listeners, and I don't know how public they've made the announcement, but he made it. It was public enough for him to tell me. So I believe he said the end of August will be their last days there, unfortunately, for a long history of being in business. So I'm happy I got a chance to go down because I think I've heard of them before, and it's great to see an RC shop on the English side, first one I've ever been to in England. So sad to hear it, but it seems to be a common story.
You said that's the only one in London right now?
The only RC model shop. Yeah, there's other model shops, but the only one for RC.
Huh.
Yeah, in all of London. You imagine being in Houston, and it's the only one in Houston or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
it's really sorry to say, but he said they don't have near as many customers. He said they used to have twice, 2 or 3 times the storefront area and half a dozen employees and that kind of stuff. Now it's just like these 2 guys. And and it just, they hang on best they can, but if the interest is not there, they said they don't have any young people coming in. It's just, it skews older and there's nowhere to fly in the area. So
Yeah, it's a bummer.
it is a bummer. So it was a great visit with those guys, and I'm sad that I won't be able to go back. One last thing, I was sort of in the area. I said, let me check out this other hobby shop called Model Shop. I guess he didn't really spend much time.
There be models here.
So I won't spend a whole lot of time on this one, other than to say, oh my God, I'd never been to a shop like this. So you see, they're mainly plastic models, best I can tell, and there's a door on the side. So I walk up, and I open the door, and there's this lady standing there right on the inside, and there's no room to go in. She's like, I'm like, wait a minute, I can't get in. And she's like, oh, just give me 5 minutes, I'll be right out. I said, okay. So I wait 5 minutes, and roughly, she was about right. She was talking to him and came out. And so I go in, and the place is basically model hoarders with a storefront.
Yeah.
You literally cannot go in past the front door. There's enough room for the door to open. It swings inside. So you go in, you squeeze yourself in, you close it, and the guy who runs the shop is like right there. And so we literally had a couple of square feet just to talk to each other. And the place is absolutely, there's a gentleman there. His name was, I think, VK. He said he was a retired schoolmaster. So I think that's the equivalent of a principal.
And these are all the models he stole from those kids.
I don't know how long he's been in business. He's a very nice chap, but man, there was stuff in the back that looked interesting, and there's no way you're going to get in the back. This is as far as you get in the store.
Did he have a ruler to whack your hand if you tried to touch anything?
I don't know. Maybe this little thing on the side. And so he had plastic models, and he did have something that was interesting. He said, well, when I was there, I wanted to pick up a model train, a UK version of an N-scale train. And believe it or not, he had some. And he had something I bought from him, a little engine.
I know you don't. I know you may not get the reference, but this reminds me of the when they're in Harry Potter. He's trying to get the wand. Like, this guy is the only one who knows which model is for you, Fitz. Like, he's gonna ask you a question. He's gonna go back there and say, "This is the model you're looking for," and then that's it. Then you buy one and you leave.
Yes, it was funny because I walked in. The guy was like, "Oh, hey, a customer. I was going to go home because nobody was coming in today." So, like,
and you know what, Terry? Terry, it reminds me of the hobby shop you visited. All the lights are off.
Yes, right. All the lights were off. So, I don't know how this guy makes any money, and you can't go in. This is far. I held the camera up high and just took a picture in the back, and it looked like there was some interesting stuff in there, but it was inaccessible. You could not get back there.
It's a front. Right. It's a front. Come on, let's just admit it.
For people listening, we can't adequately describe what we're looking at right now. So
boxes and boxes and boxes and no floor to see.
Yeah,
no floor.
Really is
there's no floor. I have no idea what color the floor is. What's that, Terry?
Yeah, it's an episode of Hoarders for sure.
It is.
Yeah.
Do they where's the cash?
I mean,
register?
they're relatively stacked well, but I'm thinking maybe you should have asked if there was a back door. To go look at.
So when I bought something, and of course he didn't take credit, so I had to use cash. And I just happened to have enough cash to buy what I needed. And he was going to give me some change. And I was like, well, where's his register? He lifts up a couple of boxes. There's this little metal tin.
No, I was expecting him to empty his pockets with coins and just put them there.
Yes. It's like,
so did you get a sense of, is this a shop that's been there a long time and it just kind of degraded into this? Or?
It had to have been there for some time because some of the models look pretty old. Okay. And I think some of them are old because there's no way he's going to sell them because nobody can get to them.
It's like it has Richard written all over it. I love you, Richard, but this is like, I think if Richard sees this photo, he's gonna completely understand. Like, this guy's living his dream. Wow.
It would be fun to go in there, but just like,
Oh, absolutely.
Like, charge me $10 at the door and just let me go crazy in there, just finding out stuff.
10. I'd give him 20. I mean, come on, just getting past that second row there would have been awesome. Because think about this. Think about this, Fitz. How many people have gotten past, like, let's say 10 feet? Probably very few. You'd be one of those.
I was half tempted to say, can I just go crawl over some boxes in the back to see what they got?
I can just imagine you two standing nose to nose, making your transaction because there's no room to go anywhere.
Fitz misses his flight coming home. 10 days later, he's still back there.
Yeah, if I hadn't spent so much time at the other hobby shop, I might have pushed more to say, can I just kind of squeeze in or climb over or do something? Because it could have been some cool stuff. Yeah, obviously has some older stuff in there, so maybe some.
All right, so this is our little PSA for those of you who are across the pond in the UK, and you have either visited the shop or you haven't. We need more info. We need someone with a little tiny whoop to fly back there in the depths with a little light. Exactly. Send us back some footage. Interview this gentleman. We need more info.
Yes.
We need to put a GoPro on a mouse and let him go crazy.
Yes, any of our UK friends, contact at rcroundtable.com. If you know this shop, it's just called Model Shop.
Oh my gosh.
I forgot exactly what part of London it is, but it's sort of north central London. And yes, let us know if you know anything about this shop, because it was it was like watching a fascinating, I don't know, well, I'll be nice. It was just fascinating.
Yeah.
And like I said, the gentleman was very nice. We had a nice conversation. He's apparently a major train geek. I was talking to him about trains, and even American trains. I said the big boy came through town. He goes, oh, the big boy, that's a such and such train. It weighs such many thousand pounds, and this and that. Like, okay, man, that's impressive.
Does 151 City Road ring a bell?
Could be. Might be it. I'd have to check my.
I'm looking up this place called the Model Shop.
It might still be in my maps.
I'm doing it because I want to see if anybody has done reviews for this.
That's it.
That's it. Northfelds. There we go.
Northfelds Model Shop. In Northfelds, of course.
Yeah.
But it's a London suburb, or what you want to call it.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to see. I don't have it on the screen because your photo's enough. But I'm trying to see if there's people showing photos from inside, because I think that's where I'm going to laugh my butt off. And the inside photos look just like this.
Yeah.
Just like one right here.
You take 2 steps, and that's it. Oh my God.
Well, you know what? I got to share this photo. Give me a second here, because this I saw this when you brought it up the first time. And I think this makes me laugh even more. Tell me if you guys can see this. But see this photo right here?
Yeah.
Everything's pressed up against the glass. I mean, it's ready to explode that window. I bet if you look from the side, that glass is bulging. Because you can see all these boxes pressed against. Is there
you can see more photos? Looks like it's changed, but I'm sharing, if you look at...
Look. Someone tried to get in or out. There's a hole up here. The ceiling. Here, there's a Star Wars box. Okay, this is fun, guys. So yeah, we have to share this with everybody. Northfields Model Shop in London.
Yeah,
that's just great, Fitz.
Yeah, Fitz, post some of your photos on our Facebook page so we can poll people.
I figured I'd talk about them first before.
Yeah.
It's basically. Yeah, if you go back to where I'm sharing, you see the picture I took of the front.
This is awesome.
The same.
Oh,
yeah,
goodness.
I hope he's still there next time. If I'm ever back there again, I'm going to have to bribe him or something.
Floor.
It's just... I was like, dude, at least have a path so we can get back there.
There's the P-47s.
I don't know if he had to use the restroom where he went or what he did.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
The fact that people are sharing photos makes me happy, because they're seeing the same thing we do. Is that him right there?
Yeah, that's him. Yep.
Yeah.
I believe his name is VK. That's actually further in the store. That must be an older picture. You can actually take more than 2 steps inside the store.
All right, that was fun.
One more quick thing.
Go ahead.
Back to my sharing. Obviously, there's a front, as you saw before. So I was on the way back. I was taking a train, and I just happened to walk past this little convenience store, and I poked my head and I was like, "Hey, wait a minute! There's model airplanes hanging up." And there's a bunch of them. Obviously, they've seen a lot better days. So in my excitement, I just whipped out the phone and said, "Oh, look at that!" Took a picture there, and I took another picture of this thing hanging up. And then the owner noticed me taking pictures and started yelling at me.
Oh, really?
Yes, he was not too happy that I was taking pictures. He was bitching at me. He wasn't really yelling, but he was obviously cross with me, as the British would say, saying, "Hey, this is a private whatever, and what are you taking pictures for?" and blah, blah, blah. And I tried apologizing to me, but he was too busy complaining for me to listen to any of my apologies. I almost said, "Dude, what do you want?" "Well, I'm apologizing. What do you want?"
Did you buy anything?
I'm about to give you a bad review on RC Roundtable.
Really? And by the way, as I'm taking pictures, there's literally a model airplane sticking out of the back of my backpack.
Oh.
So obviously I'm a model geek, but no, he's just going to yell at me. And it was funny though, when I went, finally, this is the last
1 star.
Yeah, 1 star. It's like just a little convenience store too. It wasn't like it was like a private facility. It's a convenience store on a train platform. So when I went back and talked to my cousin, I said, "Hey, I went to the shop and there's some cool models." And he goes, "Oh, is it this in so-and-so station?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh yeah, I've been there." I walked in there and said I liked the models. The guy was real nice to me and stuff. I was like, "Okay, you must have had a real bad day." And he goes, "Yeah, that place is known to be kind of in a rough neighborhood." And so it's one of those things that if you like drop your money on the ground, don't pick it up because it probably has all kinds of diseases on it and stuff. He said he just probably had a really bad day. It's not a great place to be. So I said, okay. So I top it up to he was taking it out on me that he was hating life at that moment.
Yeah.
But it was cool to see just a bunch of airplanes. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So what's wrong with that P-51? The tail looks a little wonky.
The tail looks like it's 90 degrees the way it should be.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to look some more, and I was kind of excited. I said, talk to him. I said, "Hey, you got model?" I was going to talk about model airplanes and geek out, and he was just not having that.
He didn't like the cut of your jib.
Didn't like the cut of my jib. As soon as I opened my mouth, my accent. Oh, another damn Yank.
The search is over. We have finally found the person in the universe that's not under Fitz's spell.
Finally found somebody that hated me. Well, was it Churchill says, if you don't have an enemy, then you don't have a personality or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Well, we've been looking for a long time to find your enemy. And now we know.
That's fine. I just laughed at it. It's like, okay, dude, I just walked out. So I got my fill. Damn, I've talking for that long? All right, I'm going to stop talking now. So I had fun. Anybody in the UK, you heard Lee and Terry, send us your thoughts on this. So I'm back now, and I'm going to shut up now. What do you guys want to talk about?
Let's see what we do. This is how we do the ending. Say like and subscribe our show. Don't forget to reach contact at rcroundtable.com. And until next time, right?
Until next time, see ya. Don't know if I forgot anything. I want to check my notes real quick. Did you
bring us back any toys? Do you have any show and tell toys?
I do have show and tell. You want me to go into that, right?
Yeah, you're on the roll.
Okay, where do I start? Maybe I'll start in chronological order. How about that? So in Italy, I did buy a plastic model of the AMX that was hanging. One of these was on a stick outside the facilities where I was working. So I figured I'd pick one up in honor. It's an Italian-made company, Italeri, with of an Italian jet with an Italian label from the hobby shop.
Oh,
so
nice.
I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, AMT Modelismo. I don't know, you can't really see it, but there it is. So I don't know if I'll build it or not, but I probably will at some point. But it's just kind of cool. Different paint scheme. It wasn't this bland paint scheme. The one in the Polo actually was pretty colorful.
So when you buy stuff over there, do you not have to pay the VAT on them?
I think the VAT is. I have to check the receipt. I can't remember if.
Like if you showed them your passport and say, "I'm taking this back to the States."
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you showed a passport. I never bothered. I didn't really buy that much, but yeah, I think the VAT tax is part of that.
Yeah. All right.
Good question. I meant to check the receipt on that. I just forgot. Chronological order. Okay, so I got a bunch of stuff at the West London hobby shop. That was the only thing I got in Italy. I forgot to open it up. Can you read that?
The Spy Who Loved Me.
Spy Who Loved Me. This is a Corgi model of the submarine Lotus car from the Spy Who Loved Me.
All
And
right.
it's neat because it looks like it can unfold and kind of look like a car, and you can press a button and
Kind of
things.
Transformer-ish.
It's kind of a Transformer-ish. The fins pop out and stuff. Sorry, I meant to open it up. It's not open. But it looked really cool. So I picked one up. I figured I wouldn't see one again. And it's my favorite Bond movie, too. And ironically, I was talking to my my associate or co-worker-ish person. We were talking about James Bond movies. She's a big fan of James Bond too, and I said, "Well, Spy Who Loved Me is my favorite one." And then a few days later, I see this at the hobby shop. I was like, "Yeah!" I did pick up a kit called the Senator. This is a free flight rubber band power competition model. The gentleman there told me that this company, was it Creel Craft, apparently is no longer making these. So these are like the last ones. If you didn't get them, this was it. So I figured I picked it up. It's sort of a joint.
You
British
fell for
thing.
that, huh?
Oh, well.
He's got 800
Easy
more in the
more.
back.
Yeah, really.
This is my last one.
Limited edition.
Whatever, but it's at least, this is, speaking of Ripmax, this comes from Ripmax. As a matter of fact.
There you go.
So I figured, hey, it's British. I'll pick it up. What else? Oh, so I actually got some stuff for you guys.
Yay!
Nothing
Hey, he's talking
fancy.
to me and Lee. The rest of you, it's not yours.
Yes, you. Let's see. For Terry, I've got something called a Select. It's a British company. This stuff is from England, so it is actually a really kind of neat way of making your own control rods with square balsa and these little plastic clips
Oh,
for
cool.
the metal part. It's actually really kind of neat. I saw that. That's kind of neat. So Select Modern Accessories?
I was really hoping Fitz was going to find a bag of foam.
No.
Foam bits. Just, here's for your other bag. Here's to go with your other little foam bag.
Well, thank you, Fitz.
Sure. For Lee, I got you a set of another British company called Logic RC. Makes these actually kind of neat looking rod ends, clevises. They're kind
Alrighty.
of unusual looking.
I'm a
Do
kind
they
of
have
unusual guy.
Screws on
Yeah.
them?
What's that?
Do they have set screws on them?
I think it's a screw, not a set screw, but it is a screw. So you can screw them onto the rod.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it doesn't thread onto it, and you
Doesn't
so you put
thread, it
on-
screws on it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
They're
pretty
kind of
cool.
neat. Yeah.
I think
yeah.
I'm gonna, when I get it from Fitz, there's going to be like 4 missing. He's gonna-
No.
I need these.
I got a couple things for myself. Something from Micro Mold, another British company. I don't know if I ever use them. I just thought they may be good hanger queens. This is a bell crank, he said, for a full flying elevator in an aircraft. So it might come in handy one day. I'm not sure. And of all things, just some weird tow hook for a glider.
Okay.
Just a plastic tow hook, nothing fancy. But I just just for the novelty of a British
Yeah,
modeling
sure.
company. These are made in Wickford, Essex.
Just remember where you put it.
Yeah, well, I got some hooks already set up. Let's see. Oh, and I got this is last, actually. At the hobby shop of Doom, I did get a model train, N scale, a British. I was trying to find everything I can that's British made, and so this one says made in England. It's some N scale locomotive. I don't even know what it's called. Virgin. Yeah, just a Virgin train. So I guess the same people that make Virgin albums and whatever. Also, at that shop, I looked in a box and I said, "Oh, look, what is this?" And I asked him, I said, "Well, how much do you want for this thing?" And he had a funny response. He goes, "Well, I don't know. If you give me 12 pounds, I figure I've made margin on it." And I said, "Okay, shut up and take my money." It was this.
Ooh. Okay.
This is a diesel engine about 10.1 cubic inch, was it 1.1.5 cc, something like that. It's made by a company called DC Limited, and I had to look it up. And apparently it was a company that's gone through a couple of different names. I forgot. They were last made, I think, in the 80s, and they date back to the 40s. Davis something? I can't remember, and the browser window closed. I had it up. I think I had it up. Oh, here it is. So Davies Charlton was the original name, and then it changed name to something else later on. I think somebody bought him out for a short period of time. DevCal, that's it, DevCal. And so apparently there was a fairly well-known company in England that produced a whole bunch of these things. This is kind of a muffler thing sticking off of it. All kinds of, I think, diesel and glow engines. And, and it seems to be in a fairly decent shape. It's old and it's kind of seized, but still, it doesn't look that bad. And I said, well, for 12 pounds, yeah, I'll take it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks neat with the red head.
Yeah, it's got this neat red head, needle valve that still works. And this weird kind of muffler that kind of, it's not really a muffler, it's just an exhaust header. It's not tightened. It kind of
It's like a horse collar around the cylinder.
Yeah. I did some research. Apparently, they weren't known to be the most powerful things in the world, but they were also known to be fairly easy to start and get running. So,
right.
So it was neat at that plastic model shop. He had this control line. It's a control line. There's no throttle on it. Okay. So, if you're listening, I'm holding up a control line engine.
Have you ever run, Fitz, have you ever run a diesel engine?
I have not. I actually have another one new in the box, and I've never run one. I've flown the plane with one at Small one year. The guy was letting people fly his diesel-powered RC plane. And so I've flown one, but I've never actually run one. And so I've been meaning to. You ever see what it takes to make the fuel for this stuff?
I was going to ask what you have to add to pump diesel.
Use what is it? Kerosene? Not kerosene. Fuel lamp oil. Excuse me.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, it's fuel lamp oil, and you need ether. And if you can't find ether, there's starting fluid you can use in lieu of ether, and of course some lubrication. So you can make it yourself, but it's kind of tricky. And some people have asked me, say, "Hey, would you consider making diesel fuel?" It's like I have no idea where I'd get the ether for that, and I'd probably have the ATF on me if I did try to get enough ether to make fuel. So, but anyways. So that was pretty cool. Oh, last thing I did pick up a RCM&E magazine.
All right, cool.
At the airport of all things. I was walking through the airport. I was like, man, I wish I'd gotten a magazine, and they had this. And I think you can get these stateside, but they're kind of expensive. And these are neat because they always have a fold-out plan inside. Oops.
All right.
Of something or another. So I did get a British magazine. There's a plan, so you can kind of half see it. Radio control models and electronics. So there you go. Right. I think I'm finally finished.
Well, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
On your diesel, I noticed it has a standard rotation propeller.
Yes.
I would half-mindedly thinking it would be the opposite in England. Do you know if their orientation is different typically?
No, not that I know of. I think all the engines are the same as ours. Yeah.
Okay.
I think
crazy Russians that go the other way.
Well, right.
Yeah.
Just based on that, I intuitively just expected that their models would go backwards as well.
Well, a lot of British full-size aircraft go backwards, but the models, I think it's just so easy to get propellers in a normal counterclockwise rotation. It's a universal standard for the most part.
All right.
And it was interesting. A lot of the planes were hanging up in that shop were diesels too. I asked him, I said, was diesel pretty popular in the UK? And he said, yeah, diesels were fairly popular in the UK. Not as popular as glow and gas, but they were fairly popular. And he made a point to say that glow flying is not that popular because the fuel is just so expensive. Right. I think he said a gallon of 20% nitro fuel was $80 or something like that. Yeah, wow. Yeah, he was really expensive. Right. So electric is real popular, and of course the gas.
That's California gas prices right there.
Yeah.
Hawaii gas prices.
It was just such a neat conversation with the gentleman. It was just an interesting compare and contrast to here, life in America.
Yeah.
Modeling in America, that is, I should say.
Well, welcome back, Ambassador
thanks.
Walker.
I didn't mean to spend as much time talking about that stuff, but hopefully it didn't bore you guys to tears too much.
We would have cut you off if you were.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Your internet tried to cut you off. But we did. So, all right, why don't you go next, Lee?
Are you sure?
I'm fine.
Do you have
either way.
45 minutes?
Oh, God. No, we don't.
All right.
Actually, we
first,
probably do.
First, I'll start with my name, my Wilhelm scream. And I'm not going to do the Wilhelm scream. I'm going to ask Terry to hopefully insert it somehow, some way into the audio here. But my quick rant, Lee's rant, section is Facebook Marketplace, and it pains me that Terry is so successful at like finding things and you've had your one or two items that were a little crazy trying to organize, negotiate or meet up, but I'll tell you, I got something on Facebook Marketplace. I'm not going to go to the whole story. I'll just say this: I do not like the automated "Is it available?" button. I think Facebook just really messed things up with that button because I have an item on Facebook Marketplace, and I'm not kidding. I am absolutely not kidding. I've had over 50 people press that stupid button. All right. When I clearly put in my notes, I will not respond to "Is it available?" So half of them are probably just jerks clicking on it because they want to mess with me. And I know that for a fact because one guy did. And I actually had a conversation with him about it. And he goes, "I just wanted to see if you'd respond." And I was like, "You just proved my point. You had no intention of buying this. You just basically did this to mess with someone on Facebook Marketplace. You're an ass." But I tell you, I have had the worst situation. And to end in a funny situation or to make it funny at the end of this story, to keep my wits about me, this one guy said, "That looks like fun. Where can I buy a transmitter for it?" And I was like, "Well, do you not have a transmitter?" He goes, "Oh no, I don't know how to fly." I was like, "This is not the plane for you." He goes, "Oh, I just want to buy it just in case I learn how to fly." It's like, you really don't want to buy this if you've never flown before. And he just kept going on. I was like, "We're done here. If you've never flown, you don't need this." So
No,
it's just
you did your due diligence. You told them what's what, and they wanted it anyway. That what happens after that is up to them.
I'll just
Take their money
Yeah.
and move on with your life.
And I'm going to say, besides the idiots that just, of course, use the "Is it available?" or whatever that stupid thing is, I think this is dumb. I hope y'all agree with me. I think
So
it
did you
should
get a
just
lot of
be
people pressing that button? Is it available?
a lot. A
Really?
lot of people. Yes, I can certainly give you the records, but I've been deleting messages left and right because they're obviously not reading the text. And then I've had two people that were very questionable that I called them out pretty darn quick. So within 2 or 3 responds, I knew they were just joshing me.
Tire kickers or just
No, just I think
instigators?
fake. Yeah, well, one of them, and this is a PSA for you folks. If you have someone who says, "I want this, give me a call," don't do it.
Oh yeah.
No, yeah. Apparently there's scams or something. People can try to get your phone number or something.
Yeah. And first thing I did was I looked it up just to see if it was legit, and it's not. So be careful out there. But okay, so that was my Wilhelm scream. Moving on to the fun stuff. Yeah, just be. Damn it, Terry. It's like,
What did I do?
No, it's just that you always, for this show, you've had these incredible Facebook Market finds, and I'm not doing the Facebook Marketplace as well as I should. But anyway, let's talk about on a happy note. If you guys have been following our YouTube channel, I did post a little fun video I made the day I got it, which was this little mystery swap meet bin. Actually, it was the day after. And Fitz, you weren't there because you were in London, or you were in Italia. But I made a video that's up there, and it's a little swap meet bin that I got. I will not run the whole video. I just want to say that this was fun for me. I hope you guys enjoyed it if you did see it. But basically, the guys at the swap meet were just begging me to buy this stuff, and they were fun, and just they made me a deal I couldn't refuse. But basically, I wanted the sandpaper. Okay, I think if somebody, this is all I wanted right here. I have
It's a big roll of.
yeah.
Like a
Well, no,
roll of sandpaper.
this
Yeah,
is
but-
not even that roll on the screen. This is a one of 4 that I got. Go ahead, Terry.
I've
What were you
seen
saying?
the same thing in a gas station bathroom.
It probably feels that way too.
150 grit, yeah.
Yeah. But I use those sandbars, and I use this a lot. And it's also great. I don't know if you guys use this stuff, but it's great if you're hand sanding something real small. This sticks to your fingertips, so it's easy to hold on to. And you can manipulate the paper and so forth. So anyway, great stuff. All I was going to do is buy all the rolls for $10. Okay, I'm just telling you what the price was. $10. The guys were nice. I was like, I'll give you $10 for all these rolls. And then they said, no, take the bin. Put whatever. And he just putting stuff in the bin, and I didn't even know it was in the bin. So that's what this video is. And I have two more items to show. I have mentioned on this show that this Formula 560, the canopy glue. Okay, it's like I have this stuff. It must last forever. However, this one is the first time I've ever had a bottle hard as a rock. So I really wonder what the age of this one is, because this is solid. But this one's full. This one's still got viscosity. But I did when I finally looked at this, I think I met my match there. And then I think for fun, I don't think Fitz saw the video, but I did get a nice little glow engine, a 40 size.
That's Super Tiger or Thunder Tiger?
It is a Super Tiger 40. Yeah. And I think someone had mentioned that I may have one that's actually, Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And this one turns over, so it's really nice. It's got a little pivoting muffler to adjust. So, that might be fun to play with later. I don't know. But anyway, so if you guys get a chance, go to our YouTube channel, watch that video. Enjoy. Now a question for my boys. How much would you pay for a new in-box gasoline 35cc engine, RC engine?
At street price has got to be what, $300, or a retail price, I should say.
This is where you make your bet.
I don't know.
Please.
Brand matters, right? So
Stinger.
there's good ones. Okay. I'm totally uncalibrated for this, but I'm going to throw out $150. You asked.
Fitz?
I was going to say a couple hundred for 35cc, right?
Yeah.
New in the box, because you said it was new in the box, unused.
New in the box. This is how I determine if I got a deal or not. Brand new Stinger engine, 35cc on high bid. Okay, new in box. Yeah. And then when I show it to you, you'll go, oh yeah, that looks really good. Like, not even out of the wrapper. It's a big thing. It's a big hunk engine.
Oh, it is. Okay. Nice.
Still sticking with that price?
Yeah.
All right. I thought I got a good deal. I think Fitz is closer than you are, Terry. You just shot me in the butt.
Sorry.
But brand new, it's over $320.
Okay.
I got it for $200 on high bid.
All right, that's good then.
So I'm trying to be happy about this purchase. Like I am going to find a plane for this, but it came across, and so what happened was I was scanning some items on RC parts, and that's funny because they're of the 4 or 5 I was looking at this estate sale. That's the only thing I won. And chime in, Fitz.
I didn't see. Is it rear exhaust or side exhaust?
Rear.
Oh, nice. Okay, very fine. I approve.
Thank you. The this bidding occurred because I asked Ryan. I said, so the bid right now is $20, and the engine sells for 320 plus. How far do I go? He said 200. So in the end, with shipping and everything, I got it for 200.
Oh, that's good. So you got the bid less than 200.
I got the bid less than 200. Yeah. So everything final shipping too, it was 200. Almost like I'm kind of happy with that.
That's a
So
good deal.
I think I'm sharing a win, although it wasn't a $50 gas engine or whatever, $150 what Terry was saying. But anyway, there can be deals to be found out there, and I was pretty happy with that. So I will look forward to getting me a nice little, like a Decathlon or High Wing Champ or maybe a Cub. I don't know. Probably don't need another Cub. Okay, I got one more item. One more item, and I'll try to take less time than Fitz.
Hey, little
I
fella.
don't know if making my screen any bigger will help, but I'll move myself up here and go here. So this is an untested, let me get over here, 3D printed airplane I made with lightweight PLA. Got the plans from Colts 3D. Guy's name is Nick. Found out he's from Texas. And I'm out of focus there. Come back, buddy. Come back. Here we go.
Graves confusing it.
It's going to be an interesting... It's a T-33.
There you go. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Oh, apologize. 50 millimeter. And my gut is telling me this thing is going to go up and then straight down. I don't think... I mean, I may have to push it 4S. And luckily I upsized everything so that it would be able to run 4S and just make the CG work. But here are some of the problems. Number one, there is your input. That's it.
There's no cheater holes?
No cheater holes. So when I was trying to do a static test and just holding it, I was just like this at full throttle. Going, okay. And full throttle 3S, on that. So I may have to put a smaller 1500 4S pack in there and get a 2-minute flight out of it. But I did it because I wanted to experiment with the lightweight PLA. I think it turned out really good.
Yeah, it looks good.
For the first time I've ever used the material, I've actually was quite happy. Now, the dark gray is PLA. Just because what I had available, I was making control horns too. So, and the canopy is, excuse me. But I will be hopefully tossing this soon. I just need to finish I got all the servos in. In fact, just for fun, the original builder had a torque rod running through here. There was a servo, that was in here with a torque rod out to run the ailerons. I just cut out the skin and the infill and just shoved a 9-gram in there. And then I just ran the wire back down the tube, the torsion tube he had in there. So it actually works out pretty well. And everything, it balances pretty well with a 3S 2200, but we'll see. So anyway,
so just a couple questions.
Yeah.
All right, does it have inlet ducting up to the fan?
Yes.
Okay. Did you happen to measure
direct.
the inlet? What does that mean?
I mean, there's nothing else in the way because, like the Kyosho, you have air that goes up to the servos. And, the wires come through, so all the wiring is above the ducts. So all that goes through is air.
So it's a clean
Very clean.
entry. Okay.
Did you happen to measure the inlet area to see if it's appropriate for that size fan?
No.
All right.
Terry and I had talked earlier. He was like, had this guy floated yet? I was like, he may have floated. I don't know if it was successful. And on a previous episode, I mentioned I was only the 5th person to download the plans. The good news is that I have been talking with the gentleman and giving him photos and my opinion, and I think he'll consider upgrading. Well, one thing I did make a change. I don't have the original, but this is not the scale tail, you can tell. So that's a remake that I did. I am not a CAD designer. All I did was took his STLs, put them through Tinkercad, and I modified them to give a full length elevator because they were teeny tiny, and there was just no way that they could change the angle of attack on this thing at all, especially in a positive way. So I made them much larger, and I explained to him I just felt it wasn't going to work, and then I sent him pictures of the Kyosho, which is a full length elevator.
Do you think you could cut in some cheater holes in it?
Well, it's a great question, Fitz, because in our conversation I told him it probably needed a cheater hole, and I guess it's a benefit. We'll see. But the cover plate that he had for the aileron servos that were originally in, you won't be able to see it, but I'll just show you. So this cover right here that I just taped on, this covered the 2 aileron servos that were in the fuselage, and there's underneath there is the ducts that come through. So what I was going to suggest to him is that he opens up this whole area. Maybe we put a kind of a mesh screen over it. I don't know if you can add something else and make this a cheater hole area because it would work.
Where's the
right
fan?
now? The fan's right here.
Okay.
So this is all good stuff because this is the kind of advice I'm giving him. It's like we make a few changes.
Right.
It's heavier than I hoped. It's over 500 grams. So compared to another foamy 50 millimeter T-33 out there, that thing is all up weight is 480.
What's that in American? The
Ounces?
30 grams per ounce?
28.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
So 18
that's a
ounces
lot.
is what it is, and that's not with the battery. So, again, it's going to be heavier than that. I will try it. I will have fun with it, and I cross my fingers. I'd like to think it'll be successful. I do think though it'll have to go for us.
Have you been javelin tossing to prepare for the launch?
No, but I think it'll be fine. I am already thinking like, where am I going to toss it at my field? Hopefully they haven't taken all the hay out yet, so I'll go to the end of the runway and throw it over the hay. Hopefully it'll catch it.
Was that Sparky says nature's air tunnel or something like that?
Tall grass is a poor man's wind tunnel.
Wind tunnel. That's it. Yes.
Yeah.
Poor man's wind tunnel. Yeah.
So that was the progress in the 3D plane. And finally, I'll just add this as a happy note. Austin's coming home next week.
Yay!
So Austin's done with finals and coming home from Embry-Riddle. And I will have fun with my son because although he's going to take on his first job, we'll be doing a lot of flying on the weekends. And I am flying him up to AirVenture. So he and I can have some fun, hang out with Terry, and then I'll be driving home with my son before I send him back to school.
Oh, nice.
All right, that'll be cool.
We'll share some stuff during the summer with you guys.
Nice.
All right, Terry, it's up to you now. What you got?
Well, going back to the T-33,
Uh-oh.
don't dismiss the option of a bungee launch.
I thought about that.
All right. Do you have a bungee
That's just
stone?
more building. I want to get it in the air. I don't want to take the time to build a bungee launch.
Well, you have a
Don't
high
you
star,
have
don't
one? Didn't we notice that you had one in your? Was there one in your attic? Did you have one?
I've got a high start. I don't, which is just a bungee with some extra string on it. But I don't know. I've probably got the stuff to make one. So anyway, just taking you back 20 years when that was pretty normal for EDFs. So. And Fitz, you used to have one, right? Didn't you bungee launch your RBC F-18?
Yes. I still have the thing for it, the launch rails stuff.
Oh, did you? Okay, I never used one of those. I just, yeah. So there you go, Lee.
Yeah.
Well, if you remember correctly, we had one for the Evader,
Oh,
the Great
right.
Plains Evader, but I never ended up using it because I would just underhand it.
Yeah, I remember. You were very nonchalant with your launches on it.
So maybe
really.
maybe that's it. Maybe I just feel comfortable to hand launch this thing.
You used to do these underhand tosses, and it was like a ballistic missile. It would go up in this arc, and then it would get on step right before it got back to the ground. But
I've had some close calls. There was a couple of bike launcher moments. I think everybody was like, "Oh, it's gonna hit."
You were always cool as a cucumber with it. So, all right. So is it me now?
It's you now.
All right. I've got a couple things. The first is an update from our last episode. I talked about that Westland Whirlwind that I picked up at the swap meet. I have since remadened it. So there it is. I mentioned on the show that I was going to upgrade it to brushless. I have not done that yet, and I may not. And Lee, you talked about it last time, I think. The reason that I didn't upgrade it boiled down mostly to balance. Those Speed 400s, there's not a whole lot of area in front of the CG, and so Speed 400s are pretty darn heavy, so it needs that weight up front. And I was looking through my stash of motors, and I've got a few of those Mega motors, the direct Speed 400 replacements. What are they, 1615/X?
Well, look at that.
So I was trying to find any that were a pair that I could put in here. And I had two of the Dash 3s, which are a pretty good replacement for this application. But the shaft size was different, so I was going to have to get some different spinners. And I was going to have to put two speed controls in there. Anyway, it was just a whole lot of stuff. And I'm like, you know what? These motors are in here. It's got a speed control in it. Let me just figure out a battery that'll balance with this thing and try it the way it is. And if I like it, maybe I'll upgrade it later. Or I'll like it enough that I'll decide not to upgrade it. So that's what I did. I ended up putting a little Velcro battery tray in there that held a 2-cell 2117 lithium ion battery pack. So what is it? 4,200 milliamp hour, 8.4 volt. And it runs those Speed 400s great. Those are 6-volt Speed 400s with 6.3 props. And you remember before the cannons coming out of the nose were flexi straws and they were kind of all wonky and cross-eyed. So I took those out and put brass tubing in there. And the main reason for that is because there weren't through holes. Like they were just kind of bottomed out in that firewall. So I made it a through hole, used the brass tubing, and now it's an air inlet to get some cooling air in there. And what ended up happening is even with the Speed 400s and even with that lithium ion pack all the way against the front bulkhead, it was just a little bit tail heavy. So I ended up putting some steel slugs inside 2 of those cannons. And I think it ended up being like a 1/4 ounce of steel weight.
You could have made the guns this long.
So, I did just a few tweaks to get the thing airworthy, made sure the servos were working right. And like I said, I got the motors squared away. And you saw the launch. The launch that's on video was the remade launch. And that's my buddy Aaron. He didn't huck it. He just gave it a decent firm toss and away it went. And it flew well. Needed quite a bit of trim, but I got that worked out. And after that, it was flying great.
So I have to say, with brush motors, it seemed to move pretty good, actually.
It's a pretty clean airplane. And when it's in the air, you really get a sense of how high the aspect ratio is on this thing. It's a long, narrow wing. But yeah, it was pretty speedy. And it's not a ton of power. I mean, it's pulling like 20 amps total, or just above 20. So it's 10 amps per motor on, call it 7.5 volts. I mean, that's not a lot of power. And I forget what the weight is. I think the flying weight is 25 ounces. So we get spoiled with our cheap, abundant power that we have with LiPo brushless systems now. And it's easy to forget how good some of this stuff flew back in the day when power was tough to come by. So I may leave this just the way it is. It's kind of a neat flying airplane. And I figured out that I would have to do quite a bit of surgery and overhauling to make it brushless. So yeah, don't fix it if it ain't broke, maybe.
Yeah.
Did you by any chance tack both engines to see if they matched?
No. They sounded about the same, so it's good enough.
You know, it might be fun. Are the motors relatively easy to get out, or are they kind of a pain?
They're relatively easy.
I thought it'd be neat was to take the motors out and retime them and stick them back in. You ever do that to Speed 400?
Yeah.
Yeah. You could twist the end bell on them. Get a little more.
I used to have a special tool that stuck in the motor for that.
Yeah.
You could, I guess, and then they would definitely be out of sync. But
but the for video scene, they seemed perfectly adequate for decent flying.
Yeah. I did some basic aerobatics, like a roll. The roll rate is kind of slow, but it'll get around. And I did a loop with it. And I've only had one flight on it so far because the wind picked up that day after this. So I told you that lithium ion battery is 4,200 milliamp hours.
That's a lot.
And so, right? And I flew for, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes, probably less than that. I forgot to check what capacity was left in it, but there had to be gobs of runtime left. So I could either get like a long flight or a couple flights between charges with that battery. So I'll have to feel that out and see how it works. Probably multiple short flights because we are talking about brushed motors. There's not a ton of cooling air that gets through there, so I'll try to be somewhat nice to them. But yeah, I'm tickled with how it turned out. It looks good in the air too. A win.
Yeah, good work, Smithers.
Yeah. All right, so now I need to thank some people and talk about the what's the word? The givitude of
the joy of having a friend, a dear close friend. No.
Not to take anything away from you, but I have more people on the list.
Man.
You're on that list. But,
it's all about me. It's all about me.
Is that a good list or not? Good question.
It's a good list.
It's the nice list. I've got a naughty list too, but we're not going to talk about that today.
We know who's on Fitz's naughty list. Some guy.
The guy at the train station.
Yeah.
Actually,
Good news is
Fitz is on his list.
Yeah, I was on his S list. Yeah. I was just going to say that the fortunate thing was that was an unusual stop because the train service was wonky that day, so they popped me off at an unusual station, so that's why. So I'll probably never go to that station again. So, anyways.
All right, so let me start with my Thanksgiving, my giving of thanks. So the first one goes back a few episodes. I believe it was your most recent flotilla, Fitz. We were scrolling through pictures and I saw a boat. I'm like, hey, is that an Astroflight motor? That was Nathan Evans' boat, right? I'm just going to say that it was.
Yes.
It might have been Kirk's.
No, I know it was Kirk's. It was Kirk's.
Oh, okay. Well, then that premise does not fit this at all. So our buddy Nathan reached out a few weeks ago. He had an Astroflight motor that wasn't working anymore, and he's asked if I wanted it to get it going. And I said, sure, but the likely possibility is that I'll put it in a static display in one of my car models because it's not one of the flight motors. It was intended for either boats or cars.
Oh,
and honestly, I don't know if the windings are any different from the O-size motor, but certainly the significant difference is the surface motors have an 1/8 inch diameter shaft, where the air motors have a 5/32 diameter shaft.
They might have put 3 mil screw holes in the front at the correct spacing, do you think?
I think these are still 440s.
Are they? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, every other electric motor that comes out of Japan is 3 millimeter, but yeah, the Astros are 440. You know what? You're making me doubt myself, but I'm gonna go on record and say that these are still 440. Any self-respecting U.S. based manufacturers.
There are 3 mil. You're just going to self-tap them to 440. They're 440 now.
Yeah. So this is it. It's a nice looking motor, and I probably won't try to get it running. I don't know what's wrong with it. It turns freely, but I'll take his word for it that it's not running correctly. But I've got so many of these vintage RC cars where this will be a nice showpiece to fit in there as a period correct motor. So, and it's gold anodized, so how could you not love that?
Yeah.
But anyway, so
an RC10
with
a gold chassis.
Yeah. So thank you, Nathan. I do appreciate that. And now getting closer to Lee, we talked several episodes ago about an auction that Lee helped me with. So it was an auction of an estate, somebody in Texas. I forgot where it was. Close to
College Station.
College Station. Okay. Numerous vintage RC cars. I only bid on this stuff because Lee said, hey, here's this auction. By the way, if you want, I'll go pick the stuff up for you. And so
nice.
Given that green light, I bid on stuff and I won a few. And Lee, was it Austin or Austin went with you? Your whole family?
My whole family.
Yeah. So
to the family outing to the auction, huh?
Yeah, to the Ray family. Thank you for going to pick up my stuff. And Lee's been storing the stuff in his garage for a couple months now. Do you remember when that auction was?
No.
Yeah, I mean, it was last year at least, I believe.
I'm pretty sure it was last year. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up.
Last year? Wow.
Yeah, well, probably towards the end of last year. But more people are involved here. So I've talked in the past about the group of modelers that I often run into from the Madison, Wisconsin area. They're all super friendly, gregarious guys. And one of them, Brad Reinhardt, messaged me a few weeks ago. He travels a lot for work, and he takes his RV to all these places. And he said, hey, I'm going down to Houston, so if you need anything hauled down there to Lee and Fitz or vice versa, let me know, and I'm happy to transport stuff either way. And I'm like, hey, by the way, I know that Lee has some boxes that need to come up here. And so you guys met up a week or two ago and made that change. And hours ago, like the seat is still warm in my car. I drove down to the Madison area and met up with Brad and picked up the boxes. So I've got all the loot from those auctions, and it's kind of spread around here. I was all giddy going through it. So thank you. It's all here. It's gorgeous. I'll make a video about some of this stuff. I know we talked about a little of the stuff that was in there before. I'll go into a little bit more detail in a separate video so people who aren't into vintage cars don't have to suffer through it. But it's some really interesting and unique stuff in there. So thanks to you, Lee, for picking it up, for telling me about it, for storing it. Brad, thanks to you for hauling it all the way up here and meeting up with me today. So I owe a lot of people a lot of things to make all of my dreams come true.
So have you opened up all the boxes? Have you removed everything?
I opened up all the auction boxes, yeah, and looked through them.
Is there any one item that you wanted to show that you were like the happiest about? I didn't know if you had it nearby. Because we kind of talked about one of the cars, and I was just curious if that was the one.
Yeah. Like I said, I'll make a video. I still need to digest everything that's here, but yeah, I'll make a video that kind of goes through that, and I'll highlight the more unique stuff. But there was another box. And according to you, Fitz, this box came from... Oh, I'll cover up his address. So stalkers.
Thank you.
This one came from Fitz. So, Fitz, did you gift me something?
He doesn't remember. Yes, you did, Fitz. You gave it to me when I was at your house. You said, hey, would you give this to Terry?
All right,
Oh, yeah, okay, yes. I remember. Well, so
No, I just grabbed stuff from his garage, Terry, and put it in a box I found. It's all yours now.
What was throwing me off is it looked like I mailed it to you, and I'm like, I didn't mail you anything.
Well, you sort of did. All right, so
he hasn't opened the box, Fitz.
No, he
yeah,
hasn't.
I just broke the seal, and so there's,
Okay.
I guess, a care package from Fitz in here. Let's see what we got.
Fitz is like, what did I give him?
Oh, speaking of Astroflight motors, all right, what do we got here? A geared 05. Ooh, that looks like it's a nice shape too.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you.
you're welcome.
And a bigger one. A geared 25. Also in very lovely shape. Very nice. And what else is... Oh my gosh. Whoa, what is this thing? This thing is nuts. Hold on, let me
What is
get
it?
it. Well,
I love the Fitz. Like, I don't know what I gave him.
I don't know. He's not showing us.
yeah, well, I'm trying.
I wrapped everything, Fitz.
Oh, you wrapped everything? Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I know you used a lot of bubble wrap. You package this stuff very well. What is this packing tape you used? That is tremendous stuff.
Duck. I think it's Duck brand.
I think if they had had
brand
this on the
update.
Titanic, they would have had a fighting chance. Just like, yeah. Anyway. Wow, look at this thing. It's a Marine Cobalt 05 with the open end bell and these heat sinks.
Look at that.
That is
Yeah.
crazy.
If I remember correctly, that's a specially modified Astroflight.
Okay. On the flight side, I guess this is a marine one, but flight motors with the open end bell like that was an FAI wind,
Yeah,
which were meant for higher current for short periods of time, like a climb and glide kind of thing. But these heat sink brush holders, are
That thing looks like
amazing.
it set off a Geiger counter.
Yeah. I mean, these are all cool motors, but this is a really unique thing.
That's pretty wild, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
The brush
And-
heat sinks, I guess.
Yeah, but wait, there's more. Oh my gosh.
I already used that.
Brushless 020. Nice.
Yeah.
And a spinner for, oh wow, a speed 700 Grotner. Look at the bearing on that thing.
Yeah,
This is
things
a big
used.
chunk.
Some of some of the boats use those.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Was it the Grotner? No, the
Yeah. This one, I wonder, it's got some brass tubes on it. Is that for
Yeah.
cooling? Like they would run,
No, you wouldn't cool that part. Maybe that's just a part of a connector or something.
yeah, maybe. Oh, look at this. All right, so these, speaking of Speed 400s, I assume these are Speed 400 mounts, like fiberglass tube Speed 400 mounts?
Yeah, I think they were for like a twin-motored plane, something like a Learjet or something like that.
Oh,
They have
okay.
these
So
really odd
they,
mounts like that. Yeah.
yeah, that's what these tabs are for.
Yeah.
Oh, it's even got the cutouts on the side for the air holes.
Yeah, they're pretty neat. I figure you might use it for a project or something.
Yeah, this is cool stuff. So I'm going to ask you more about it in a minute. So are these part of the Okay, so these fit.
Yeah, end bell.
Look at that.
Yeah.
So little
Yeah, isn't that
ducts, or tail cones for the motor mounts. That is cool stuff. All right, and there's more.
Terry is winning today.
Yeah, I was about to make a joke, but I'll keep it clean, keep it family friendly. But there's another motor here that I don't recognize the name on it, but it appears to be another Speed 700 type thing. Offshoreelectrics.com. Okay, yeah. So
Oh yeah.
that's a boat RC company.
Yeah.
With
With the same kind of connector.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Is that a fan? Internal cooling fan too?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
did the Grotner have that? Yeah, the Grotner has it as well.
Does it? Okay,
So,
that's pretty neat.
Is
And
it
the
possible
Fox
that's
Ray?
parallel plug? You have one battery connector, and then maybe you run two banana jack wires between, for
Maybe.
like a twin.
Yeah. So all you boat guys, why do we have brass tubing on the solder pads for the motors? Inquiring minds want to know. All right. And there's one more box here. Now, this is maybe what's in it. The Great Plains Goldfire. Let's see. That's exactly what it is. So another can motor with high-end speed control. Right there. Off, on.
Yeah.
What is that rated for? How many amps is that one rated?
Yeah, exactly. And it's got a 20 amp fuse in it. So I believe this is the motor that would have come with the original Electro Street kits.
Yeah.
So you
And I
put
think
an
the Electra's
8-4
too, right? The Goldberg Electra, I think has.
Oh, you know what?
similar-
That's probably what this prop that was in there is for.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's got a set screw prop adapter with a spinner. I'll bet this looks like it came out of an Electro Street kit. That's cool. And so what size prop is this? Probably an 8.4. And then, yeah. Boy, this used to be some hot to trot stuff. All right. Very cool. So, Fitz, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Glad you like it.
So, yeah, I love it. So, may I ask, where did you find all this stuff?
This is from different sources of trying to remember. So, for example, that Goldfire, I think that was given to me to give to you. I think Stuart gave it to me.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, he said, "Hey, Terry might be interested in this." So I said, "Yeah, sure. I'll put it in the box."
All right.
At least a couple of the Astroflight motors I got for extremely, extremely cheap price at a swap meet. I figured you might like them. I figured you have first choice. If you didn't like them, I would take them back. So if it's something you don't think you'll use, I'll take them back, but I give you first right of refusal.
You'll have to pry this one out of my cold dead hand.
That's fine. That's fine. But if one of the geared ones you think you don't have a use for, just put it away. Next time I see you, I'll take it back with me.
Okay,
If you,
yeah.
If you don't want to clutter up anything.
Yeah, I know I've got a stash of some stuff, so there may be a duplicate and the other things, and if so, yeah, we'll figure out what
Yeah,
would make sense
yeah.
for you to have back. Yeah, but it's
And
some
yeah,
cool
I can't
stuff.
remember where the other two motors. I think the 700 might have just come in with something. The 700 ones I really don't remember.
Yeah, I assume they came from a boating application or a boating person.
Yeah, I think I just got a bunch of stuff. Just grabbed a bunch of stuff with at a swap meet or something, and I thought
All right.
I thought of you. Maybe I found them in somewhere. I honestly can't remember. It's been a while. Some of those I've had for quite a while, and I think I'd forgotten to bring them with me last time I went to see you. And so
Okay.
I'm trying to remember where they came from. Whatever.
Well, thank you for thinking of me. I do appreciate it. And for other people listening who may have been involved in this, thank you as well. It's appreciated. And I actually did some work this week trying to organize the museum. And strangely enough, speaking of Astroflight motors, I already had a display of car motors, and I stole this idea from a friend of mine who I think got it off the internet. But off Amazon, you can buy these lipstick holders. Like they're made for on your bathroom counter. If you have lipstick or maybe it's nail polish, it's just a 3 or 4 tiered thing that fits your average nail polish bottle. And it helps you organize everything. Well, if you turn those shelves upside down and drill an 1/8 hole in them, you can put electric motors in there, and then you have a 3-tiered electric motor display. So I did that for my stash of car motors. Then I'm like, hey, wait a minute, I've got a whole bunch of Astroflight motors I want to show off. So I bought another one, and just a few days ago, I finally arranged it and drilled the holes to put the Astroflight stuff in. So
You said there were lipstick holders?
lipstick or nail polish. It's just, you know what? You're going to make me go get it, aren't you? I'll be right back.
Because lipsticks are very thin and narrow. I was like, wait a minute. It's not processing. Unless I'm missing something. I don't know. I don't own lipstick. Well, Terry's away. Should we have some music or something?
He'll cut it, or we'll just leave it this way and make it very exciting for people. Here we go.
All right.
And
So,
another thing.
so these shells that you'll see in just a second, I've inverted. They're basically a U-shaped channel, and normally the U is on the bottom, and they fit like a nail polish inside.
Oh,
You can have
okay.
rows of-
Okay.
you flip it upside down,
Yeah.
and then it becomes a display for motors. So this is why
Nerd, nerd.
Nerd. That's a lot of Astroflight motors.
Oh my gosh,
it is
Man,
a drop
that's
in
the
bucket.
cover. That's the cover photo for this episode,
Yeah.
right there. Yeah, exactly.
I want
little
my
higher,
motors back.
little higher.
So these are the ones without gearboxes. Now I've got these with gearboxes. I got to figure out a good way to display them. So
Yeah, but you need to shadow box that other one.
this one,
Yeah, that's gotta
Yeah,
have its
that one,
own little LED lights, black velvet background.
with security system, the laser beams coming across,
Sure.
saw blades that swing out. So yeah, this is cool stuff. So thanks, guys. I do appreciate it. So, the motors come out on this. I just noticed on the little Learjet looking
Did they?
thing.
Oh, I never pulled them out. Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
I was wondering if they were glued in or anything. I just never thought to
Well,
tug on
this
them.
one isn't anyway.
That won't go back in.
All right, man, that was cool stuff. Now, was that everything I was going to talk about? Probably. We do have one more thing that I don't think we've mentioned yet. We've got a new RC Rescue to see. This is one about the toy snowmobile that I converted with hobby grade electronics.
Oh,
So in my brain, I remember talking about it on the show, but maybe that was us recording the rescue episode. So I don't think we've mentioned it on an actual podcast yet. So for those of you who haven't seen it, check out our YouTube channel. You'll see that episode of RC Rescue. And we've got more in the works. I know Lee's working on one. I've got a couple. And Fitz is thinking about starting on one. So anyway, there's more coming. What else are we going to talk about?
Right there. RC Rescue 6, upgrading a toy snowmobile.
Yeah,
There you go.
It's,
Go.
I laughed, I cried, I bought the book.
You cleaned, you cut plastic, you cut more plastic, and even more plastic.
Right. All right. So, do we need to mention any more about your upcoming trip? Like, are we going to have another show before you go to the
I
Now?
don't know. It's 2 weeks away.
Is it really?
Two weeks away, Fitz.
2 weeks. Wow.
Is Joe Knoll.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's soon.
I'm picking you up. I'm just
You sure 2 weeks?
Be ready Saturday. Yeah.
Not 3 weeks.
It's 2 weeks.
Wow.
That's
So,
one, two.
I
Two
talked-
and a,
Oh, wow.
two and some change.
2 in a couple of days. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll
So
bring
I-
my trailer over. You and Mike shove your stuff in there, and we'll head out on Saturday morning.
Fun.
Okay.
fun.
You saw a response to your email, right, on that? Did you see
No,
that? I thought I responded.
I did not.
Oh, I did.
I think you just said let's follow up, right? Was that it?
No. I mentioned
Oh,
something
well-
about a date and reasons
Oh.
and stuff.
Then I'll take a look. I'll see
Pretty
if-
sure. I hope I clicked send on it. I know I
Probably
typed
went to
it.
junk mail. All that AI stuff. Lee doesn't need to read this.
Well, it sounds like you've done the coordination to do another co-episode with the RC Plane Lab guys.
Did you?
Yeah.
What?
It's not firm, I don't think. We just said we have a date that we're hoping to shoot for. So, but yes, I think we're going to get together.
I haven't talked to
You've
him. I don't know
reached
if you
out
did,
to
Lee.
them.
I have. I've been emailing Ron.
Okay.
And Ron's like been uploading photos of his trailer, so it looks really nice, way better than mine. And I just want to punch him in the face. I'll punch him in the face when I see him.
There you go. You have the opportunity.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's nice and bright in there. He's got the what's that? Luan? Is it Luan? What's the white, paneling, whatever that stuff is. Yeah. So mine's not quite like that, but it works. I got a new axle. I got new tires. I'm ready to go.
All right. There's a big green airplane behind you, Fitz.
Yeah. Have I talked about that?
You've mentioned what it is.
P-51?
but
Yeah,
don't have a progress report.
that's the Legend Hobbies
Seagull.
has the Seagull models 71-inch, I think, P-51. So it's actually almost done. It doesn't look like it, but in fact, I have the decals. It's really the next thing I need to do. Slap some decals on it, crank up the engine, see if it runs, and it's pretty much ready. So
We
it's been
put that star upside down on the right.
That's right, on the right wing upside down. It's called, it's going to be, what is it called? I have the, did I tell you the decal, the paint scheme? Oh, I might
green?
need to paint it's,
I'm guessing green.
well, obviously. It's called Passion Wagon.
Okay.
I just realized I might need to paint some stripes on it. It's the only thing. It's got a rather risque nose art.
Ooh la la.
Yeah,
Hubba hubba.
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Ooga.
Somebody stop me.
Somebody stop me. So, anyways, yeah, some nose checkered stuff. Stars. It's a big star. So, anyways,
Triggering.
so yeah, it's looking forward to this one. This one is neat because it will have functioning drop tanks on it,
Okay.
and it's got interesting 3-piece wing instead of 2 pieces. Retracts with sequencing doors. What else did I mention? Got a bit more cockpit detail than usual, including a sliding canopy. The whole canopy can slide back and forth manually. And it didn't come with a pilot, so I've been 3D printing. I have a test pilot here. This is the pilot my Buffalo came with.
Oh, right.
I scaled it up a bit. So
Okay.
I painted it in black because I just happen to have that already loaded in the printer. So you think it's just a touch big. I might have to scale one down a little bit, just as a test print. But it's still a U.S. Air Force, Army Air Force pilot, so that should fit in there quite nicely as a dummy.
Yeah,
So
nice.
So that's it. That's 35cc rear exhaust Stinger, just like Lee picked up.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, good luck. Keep us
Thanks.
updated on the maiden flight and all that. I assume Lee will be there to take photography and videography and
I hope so.
other ographies.
If Lee's willing.
Yeah, I hate to say, do we want to? You're right. We're ending on a happy note. We'll talk JSC next time, right?
Oh,
Yeah. We'll take yeah.
all right.
Anyways.
Well, I think we're ready then.
All right.
Okay.
That's
Do your thing, Fitz.
No. All right. You've been listening to another fun-filled episode of the RC Roundtable International Edition. So, of course, as usual, please send us your thoughts at contact@rcroundtable.com. Of course, hate mail goes to Terry. So, we're especially curious if our UK folks will chime in this time. Also, like and subscribe on our YouTube channel here. If you're listening, go to our YouTube and check this out. Subscribe there. Vice versa on whatever, Podbean, whatever else we have stuff on there. There we go. Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're at Spotify. We're at somebody. And I don't know what else to say. What else? It's been a while. I think that's it. Other than that, guys, got any last words?
Farfignugan.
Funkin' groovin'.
Ah! My will
right.
scream. Back
Okay,
to
everybody.
Facebook Marketplace for more screaming.
All right, on that note, ciao.
Please visit our website at rcroundtable.com. That's where you will find all of our podcast episodes. You can also find a little bit of background information about the show host and leave comments and suggestions about the show. There are links to a few of our favorite vendors and also links to our various social media accounts. Thank you for watching and listening.